I do have a video planned. I don't have any energy to edit it yet. It's gonna be an hour-long video. No, it's not the Ben 10 video, but this I haven't been uploading lately, so I think I should get right to it with another review. But dear action movie makers out there, please stop using Russian mafia as a crutch for a bad guy in a movie. It's getting exhausting at this point.
Vegetarian fight 挑戦状でオンザルの指受けは昨日燃やした夜明けを待って He's gone, he's gone 傷を増やした He's gone 最上級に手を伸ばして痛い目を見たって Maybe I'm gonna be a flipping now 怖くなくなった Oh yeah フリースローで大逆転チャンスシスターボケの誕生マイルマイロレ熱い産声アウトサイダー判定ショータイム陪審員をからかってこの世界を締め出されても確かめたくて He's gone, he's gone 地図を破った He's gone 最短距離を着飾った歌が並んでる Maybe I'm gonna be a flipping now 何を食ってんだ Hey, hey
Salutations everyone, I'm Niru and welcome back to another Niru at the movies. Oh boy. So, how do I describe a movie about someone called Nobody? Well, this is just a review. No clips, no nothing, just a still image of the movie. And just me talking about it. Yes, it's boring, but that's usually my reviews for at the movie kind of things that I do. I do less editing and just focus on me talking about a film, and that's it. But yeah, whatever. So, okay. So, actually no one knows because no one saw the fucking movie because it was stupid. From the movie Shaft, the recent one that was made in I think 2018, 2019, I believe. In that movie there was 3 Shafts, the younger one, the middle age, even though Samuel Jackson's 70, but we're gonna say middle age because that's how I can explain it. Middle age, and then there was the old man Shaft. That sounds very, very wrong when I say it like that, but there was the old man, there was the middle-aged one, and there was the young one. And all 3 of these John Shafts are fighting, like taking down like some kind of big criminal dude that's part of a drug cartel, I guess. And 3 of them were fighting with guns, and we were here to show their strengths as who they are. But, that was the most boring fight ever. And I thought that was going to be the coolest thing in the movie, seeing three of these guys show off their skills, like the differences between the old, the the remake, and the reboot. But I was like wondering like who is gonna like what they're gonna do, and it turned out to be just a joke or just some stupid silly shit. The action was not that well made. I made a recording of me talking about sometimes the problems with action comedies or directors that don't know how to direct action in general. I did talk about a video about that. I did forget one movie I really wish I mentioned, but whatever. I think I'll edit it in post, who knows. But anyway, in that scene, it was a choppy mess. Like, it was like edited down to hell. Like, it was like so choppy. Like, it was all quick cut action. Not that very interesting. A lot of gunfire and boring stuff in a closed space that was just a small little apartment. And it just felt uninteresting. It just felt boring. Nobody does the same thing, actually. And it's like two younger guys. Well, one is middle-aged. The one is an old man. And they both handle their strengths well. Like, you see both their strengths. As in the end of this movie, you see both of their strengths. Like one is middle-aged, but he's really good with guns, and he's very good at planning stuff with the traps he set up in this like construction place. One is a sniper, one is good with combat, like he's fighting, and he's pretty cool. One is very old, but he has a big fucking gun. So he is like already using, like, even though he's slow and old, he still has this like two shotguns on him, and he's like fucking dual wielding a double barrel and a pump action shotgun also, and fucking like shooting all these bad guys. And even though he's slow, he's fucking quick on these motherfuckers. Like, he is insane. And when I saw that, I immediately was thinking about that ending fight between the three Shafts in fucking Shaft, and how I hated it, and how it was such a missed opportunity of how you could have showed their different strengths and their pros and such of how they can handle a fight on their own. And they don't do it that much because it was just them firing guns and that was it. And it was stupid, and it didn't do anything to make you feel satisfied with the action scene, and it just was left lame. But, you know, I'm getting ahead of myself here. So, spoilers for this movie, because this is it's an action movie. I mean, I don't know what you can say about this, but then again, me describing it to you, you're probably thinking, man, I want to see this movie. So Nobody is written by Derek Kolstad. I think that's how you pronounce his name. He's the writer of the John Wick movies, and I think he's one of the directors as well, alongside with him and David Leitch, you know. They didn't direct this movie. Ilya something, I forgot. Hold on. Ilya Naisholler? I think that's how you pronounce his name. I'm sorry. It's a Russian name, I think. If you don't know this director, he's directed a lot of those like first-person view music videos, like The Prodigy's "Smack My Bitch Up," The Weeknd's "False Alarm." But I believe you guys know him more accurately for Hardcore Henry, the first-person action movie that came out a long time ago. And not a lot of people liked it. Critics were like about it, thinking it was just a one-trick pony, and just being like, oh, the gimmick is it's in first person, whoop-de-doo. Like, that's what they didn't like about it. But me and a bunch of people who love action movies in general Hardcore Henry is fucking awesome. I love that movie. I think it's one of my favorite action movies uh, of all time. I just love uniqueness in my action movies. Like, I love unique stuff in action movies, and this is one of them. Like, and John Wick is one of those movie franchises I would love to death because I love the choreography, I love the action scenes, how they're well put together. Keanu Reeves puts in the work in trying to, like, doing all the stunts that he could possibly do at his age. It's amazing. And it's even more surprising with the actor in the movie, Bob Odenkirk. I don't know much. I don't follow much of his work. I've seen him in a few things, but I never seen Breaking Bad. I never seen Better Call Saul. I saw him in a few stuff. I know. Sometimes comedies, or sometimes he makes like cameo appearances in like animated films I've seen. And I don't know much about him. All I know is he's a comedy writer. He usually does comedy, or he usually does a lot of the stuff. I know Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul are dramas, but he has done a few comedy here and there. And this, I was very surprised that he really did, like, I think most of his stunts in this movie. Like, he really did want to put in the work, just like Keanu Reeves. He really did wanted to go and, like, do what Keanu Reeves did and fight and actually do some of the stunts in this movie, but also make the stunts work as, like, oh, since he's old, he has to, like, try to fight like he would technically fight if he was in that age. Not like be like Mr. Perfect, because Keanu Reeves is Mr. Perfect in John Wick. But in John Wick, you know that, oh, he's not bulletproof. He's not all powerful. He's still just a guy. He's a human being. He gets hurt, he gets stabbed, his body is in like so much like pain and all the bruises, bullet holes, stab wounds, and everything. John Wick is not a powerful guy until he has the plot armor, and his plot armor is his like bulletproof suit. Like, Jesus Christ, that his suit was bulletproof. Like, my goodness. But hey, I guess these people don't try to aim for the head unless you're John Wick. You aim for the head. And here he is very vulnerable. Bob Odenkirk's character, Hutch, he is this. He doesn't have bulletproof jackets. He's not like Keanu Reeves. He does, like Liam Neeson, has a particular set of skills that make him a nightmare to you. That sort of thing. And he has used these because he used to be this, obviously a badass. He says he used to be an auditor that people do not want to see because he makes sure they're dead, or, I guess pay their dues in time. Who knows? Usually his story is kind of a bit glossed over about what you know about him, but you kind of know a little bit about who he is as the movie goes on. And it doesn't technically do the action scenes quickly in this movie. We get time to see him develop. Like, you notice he's living a quiet life. He's doing the same, dull, boring routine every day. And for some reason, forgetting to take the garbage out. Seriously, who does? Like, any sane person would just take their garbage out, put it in the curb, leave it overnight, and then let the garbage man pick it up in the morning. It's that simple. I don't get why he would miss the garbage a lot. It's silly. But yeah, you start to see that life is not that well with him. He and his wife seem to be a bit apart. Like, not like they don't love each other anymore. I guess they don't. Their spark of their life hasn't been, ignited for a long time. Like, the flame has diminished a bit. I mean, that's what you get when you're married a bit. And, they have two kids. The oldest one, which is the son, doesn't like his dad that much because, he didn't take a swing at the burglars that came to their house, which you start to realize why he didn't swing at them, because these people pulled a gun on him and the gun wasn't even loaded. And they stole the cash that he had on him, even his watch, and they left. He didn't take a swing at them because he didn't want to, and you see why, because he realizes that these people weren't dangerous. These burglars were desperate and nervous and were trying to steal money to get by, I guess, because you find out later, once he was looking for them, that they're actually two parents that was trying to care for their baby, and it seems that their baby isn't healthy that much. I mean, the baby's breathing through an oxygen tank, which is oof, that's sad. And even though he was trying to get revenge and wanting his watch back, which he did, and thinking that the kitty cat bracelet that was in the bowl of money that his daughter put the kitty cat bracelet in there, I guess he cracked and snapped a bit. Like, damn it, now I have to go and find these people so I can get my daughter's bracelet back. Turns out they didn't have it, and he made a mistake because he realized they have a kid, and he felt like he made a mistake. Sick. But he still, what I love about it, what makes me laugh, is that he wants to let out his rage, like actually fight people. He wants to actually like kick people's ass. He actually wants to like let the beast out technically and fight someone. And then out of perchance, drunk Russian guys, yes, because apparently this writer is obsessed with Russians. I mean, really, what is up with him with Russians? John Wick fights Russians. Atomic Blonde is in fucking, like, Moscow or something, or wherever, like, when the fall of the Berlin Wall was about to happen, and in Russia. Like, Jesus Christ. Like, it's like this writer and David Leitch are like so obsessed with using Russians as a crutch as bad guys. It's ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. I mean, yes, the sequels to John Wick, no more Russians, but like, my God, it's like a bad guy crutch for them. Seriously, enough. I don't want any more Russians, right? A different ethnicity to be a bad guy. Like, for fuck's sake. It's getting ridiculous. Like, I'm getting tired of it. Or I'm getting tired of it being drug cartels or Russian mafia or the mob or some kind of gang. Like, why can't it be something different? For at least, I mean, it could still be a gang, but can it be a gang of something that's different? The villain's not that interesting either, but we'll get to that later. These Russians, like, guys that were drunk, they crashed their vehicle into some bricks. They live, surprisingly, and lo and behold, out of the coincidence, yeah, they crash near the bus, where the bus stops to see if the Russians are okay. And the Russians do go into that bus, and the bus driver reluctantly lets these drunk assholes in, but Hutch is like hoping to God that that door opened because he's thinking that these guys are gonna be cunts, and he fucking's like, oh God, please, please let me attack them. And I do love the narration of him wanting to fucking fight these guys, and he just like, I just love how he's like, yes, please, I want to fight them. And you see this like fucking smug ass smile he gets where he sees them coming in being dicks and then harassing a young girl on the bus, and then freaking like what's the song? I don't know if it's Frank Sinatra or Dean Martin, but it's the song. It's the song I gotta believe, I gotta believe. I know the song. I heard it. I heard it a lot. I hear a lot of Frank Sinatra or Dean Martin, or just old songs in general that I like. Like man, ever since not ever since Joker, I wouldn't say that. I say like ever since like Fallout or games that have an old soundtrack in general, I just love music like that and love to listen to it constantly, especially like in games that have like their own in-game radio and they're playing like old music. I just like, yes, let me listen to that. I love it. More of that. You would like, if you ever see my Fallout 4 streams, mainly the earlier ones, you would hear me singing cause I'm the wanderer. Yeah, the wanderer. I'm around. Like I do a lot of like listening to that radio, even though it might get me copyright striked or something. But I do love old music like that, and this movie has a great soundtrack of songs that I love. I'm like, hell yeah! Like this movie's got a great soundtrack of songs. Like it's amazing, and um, this this is like probably the best action scene in the movie, and honestly, it's true. It's the highlight action scene in the movie. It's just like, with John Wick, it has its iconic fight scenes, like the mirror, the mirror like reflections scene in John Wick Chapter 2, or the club scene in John Wick, in the first John Wick, or the house breaking in scene in the first John Wick. Like there's memorable scenes in action movies that you have, like, oh, it's this scene, or it's that scene, or oh, the scene in Atomic Blonde where George Michael's father figure is playing in the background and she's fighting the guys in the apartment building, or the or like, the stairway, uh like the non-broken shot, like one shot fight scene in Atomic Blonde. That was cool. Like there was like, it always has like, these types of movies has always that one memorable scene. Everyone's gonna be like, oh shit, I love that scene. I like to talk about that scene. And the bus fight scene is a memorable one, but it is one of the memorable ones because this one's good, but there's one that I like better. And yeah, this is nice. The raw like intensity about it, and I think a lot of critics and people like me know that watching this movie, you see like with John Wick, he instantly like fought these Russian bad guys or something in the first movie where John Wick fights them, and he's already perfect. He's already kicking their asses. He's already like getting back into the swing of fighting again, even though he hasn't fought or shot a gun for like how many years when he was with his wife, and he already is perfect. So, here this guy, yeah, he has fought before. He has done like a lot of like he knows how to use a gun. He knows how to use a weapon, or he knows how to freaking like take care of himself and use what he has with his surroundings in this movie. And but here he gets his ass kicked the moment he fights these guys, and he's slowly but surely but getting back to the basics of him fighting again, and trying to reassert himself as a badass, basically. And he does, and he does get his ass kicked a lot. Like, he gets beaten, but he still fucking got a few good fight punches in, and especially breaking a dude's arm, busting a dude's like whole entire teeth that it's all fucked up. Like, that teeth is gone and shattered. Or punching a guy, getting stabbed by one, but also using that knife he got stabbed in with, stabs the other guy with it, and then also like pushing it through another guy's leg. So brutal. And it goes on, and even he ties the guy, one of these guys, he ties this like the bus has like a thing where you pull this certain like rope thing so you can stop the bus to where you want to go, like what your destination is. He uses that and ties it around this guy's neck and like hits him and chokes him with it constantly, like bashing his head in through the window. And then the stop requested sign is keep going on and off with the bell is ringing, which is weird because I don't know what bus uses a bell anymore, because the public transit I use, it always has this robotic automatic voice that says stop requested, but this one has a bell, so whatever. And he gets thrown out the window, and he's like coughing on blood, he's like bleeding everywhere, he's like fucking like bruised up, like he feels like he's done, he's exhausted. But no, he comes back in that bus, uh gets the knife that's on the ground, cuts like a part of like the belt of a seatbelt from the bus in the driver's seat. I don't know what he used it again. I don't remember what he did, but I know he uses his watch like brass knuckles to beat a guy senselessly, which was so cool. He then beats up the remaining guys on the bus, chokes one out with someone's purse. I think it was the girl's purse. I don't know. And he fucking like goes to town on them and beats the shit out of them. And then one guy who took the gun he had, because he took a gun and an FBI badge from his father before he went and tried to find the two burglars of his house. He went and get a gun from his father, who is played by Christopher Lloyd, Doc Brown himself. Holy shit. Judge Doom from Who Framed Roger Rabbit. He gets his gun and everything, but one of the Russians gets the gun, loads up the bullets to go and shoot him. But then he takes one of the poles from the bus, and then he just bashes his arm to disarm him, then bashes his face, and then hits him in the fucking jugular, where he starts to like not breathe. So he takes a cup, I guess soda or something, that the girl that left the bus before she got assaulted, takes the straw, uses the knife to cut his throat, the middle portion of it, and then puts the straw in the hole that he made in his throat so he can breathe, because he was choking on his own blood, and then leaves the bus. And he felt satisfied. He felt happy. And then his wife finds out that he's been beating the shit out of guys. And then she tends to his wounds, and he's like, he feels like he's sad. He's reminiscing the glory days, basically, and he feels like his marriage is falling apart. But he's like, hey, I miss those times that we had together with each other. I just wish we can go back to those days where we used to be in love and everything. He misses those days because when they're sleeping together, there's like a pillow fortress, like a pillow Berlin Wall, basically, between them when they're sleeping in the bed together. And once he went back to bed and he went to sleep, she removed that pillow barrier because he wants to, like, be with him again. And it was a nice touching scene where the wife is like comforting Hutch, and like he's too, because she misses him also. So yeah, the Russian bad guy in this movie, basically the guy that, you know, Hutch put a straw into his throat so he can breathe. Apparently that was this Russian bad guy's brother, his little brother, even though it looks more like he could have been his son and he could have been the father. But okay, they're both brothers, I guess, so whatever. Yeah, this guy is not interesting whatsoever. So apparently, you know, Hutch is like, you know, living his life. He's feeling happy. He feels like he got his adrenaline high from fighting those Russian guys on the bus, not knowing that they were part of a mafia mob, Mephisto whatsoever, or some shit. And meanwhile, the Russian bad guy dude who runs a club and shit, he's not happy. He's like, he wants to find this guy, and apparently they found him through his Metro card he left on the bus. And so they track him down, know where his knows where his father lives, know where his family lives. He knows his like connections and associates, that he's gonna use it against him to kill him, basically. And this Russian guy is boring. I'm just gonna say it. He's not the most interesting guy ever. He's just boring. Like John Wick, the villain of John Wick, he was played by fuck his name. Hold on. Okay, Michael Nyqvist. Sadly, he passed away, which sucks because he was a really good actor. Michael Nyqvist, he hasn't been in a lot of good movies. Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol, that movie underutilized him as a villain. They just made him generic in that film. He was in the Swedish version of Girl with a Dragon Tattoo. He was, you know, Daniel Craig's character in the English version, you know, whatever. Michael Nyqvist, he was the bad guy in John Wick, and he was really good. They gave him they gave him room to improvise. You know, he was the one that was like, the fucking nobody is John Wick, and he was a pretty cool villain. He was interesting. He was cool. He even tried to be civil with John and trying to be like, hey, I'm sorry that my son fucking killed your dog. Can we just be reasonable? He's like, nope, I'm killing your son, motherfucker. So yeah, like, Michael Nyqvist, he brought a lot of character to his role, despite he could have just, you know, sleepwalked the role and just been like, I'll be a generic bad guy. But no, he brought character to his role in John Wick, and I love that. The second movie, you know, the villain wasn't that memorable. He felt stock, basically, and he was a dick. I thought Ruby Rose's character and Common in the movie, I thought they were the more interesting people, even though they were just the side like enemies of the movie, but they brought an interesting character to them. Like Ruby Rose, she didn't like have any lines in that movie, but damn, even though Ruby Rose didn't talk in that film, she brought a very powerful presence. She was basically Neapolitan from Ruby. Like, doesn't say anything, but her actions speak louder. Here we get a generic Russian villain, and it's boring. Just like with Atomic Blonde, generic, like, surprise bad guy, also in the movie, that you have no like emotion for, and you'd be like whatever. But then again, Atomic Blonde was more of a spy kind of action thriller where it was all about like who's the mole, who's the rat, who is the double agent. It was like a mystery kind of thing about who has the MacGuffin of the movie, the plot device, basically, that's driving the movie forward. Like, who is it, basically? And that's it. But, it doesn't make the movie boring. I thought the movie was still good either way. But, like James McAvoy was like a bland, like, oh hey, I'm the surprise villain. What up? Like it's that kind of silly kind of thing. But in, the third John Wick movie was just John trying to survive, and the Top Chef America guy, the guy that goes "Aye cuisine," that guy, he brought a presence in that movie, and he was fun. Like he was fun in that movie. I love that. Even like the two Indonesian guys from the Raid movies, like Redemption and Raid 2, like holy shit, they were great too. I love them. But here, there's not an interesting villain to carry this film. He's just generic. Bob Odenkirk, Christopher Lloyd, and RZA, they bring the power in this movie. They bring a powerhouse in this movie. I saw Michael Ironside's name in this film, and I don't know where he was, and probably missed him. Or maybe he looks different because I didn't see him in this movie. I don't know where was Michael Ironside, but his credit was in the film, and I'm like, where is he? I don't know where he was. Where was Darkseid? For those of you who don't know, Michael Ironside played Darkseid in the animated Justice League cartoon and the Superman cartoon as well. And he's a great Darkseid. But I'm being sidetracked by this. I didn't know where he was. I don't know who he was. Maybe I gotta watch the movie a second time to see him, because maybe Michael Ironside looks different now, and I probably fucking missed him because I didn't know where he was in this film. Like, where was he? But anyway, uh, so, but yeah, the villain is stock. All he can do is like, hey, I run a nightclub. I sing, I dance. I'm cool. I'm hip with the kids, right? Or something like that. But no, he's just generic, and I don't like that. I want a fun, interesting villain, but sadly, this movie's like the hero is the main attraction of this movie, and he is. Bob Odenkirk is really great in this movie. He gives a little bit of like leeway, like room to improvise with his character. And since he is a guy who does comedy, he does try to put a comedic little presence to his like character and make comedy in this movie with the action scenes, and I love that. Like, he was given time to like thinking, oh, wouldn't it be cool if I did this, wouldn't it be cool if I did that. I heard he did get more time to work with like the stunt choreographers, or like the script, like the director, and see like, oh, what if we did this, what if we did that. I like that he did get a bit more time to what he can do in the film, and also what comedic stuff he can do also with his character. I love that. And so yeah, they put out to find Hutch, and he's like with his family. He's trying to reconnect with them, being a better parent and being a better husband and doing well. And he's making lasagna for his family. He's trying to be happy in his life. And he knows that he fucked with the Russian mafia, but he's like, it's fine. They're not gonna go out and bear a grudge on me. I mean, I didn't kill his brother. His brother's alive. But no, the Russian bad guy was like, nah, I'm gonna send my team of like armored like thugs at you and go to your house and kill your family and kill you. And yeah, that's what happens. He protects his family in this panic room, basically, and then he fights the thugs in his house. Of course, since this is written by the person who made John Wick, and we got the director of Hardcore Henry, so let's damage the fucking house and put a lot of blood in this scene. And that's what it was. It was just the John Wick fight, the house fight scene, but with Bob Oden, with Better Call Saul as the main hero. And he gets kidnapped. He gets subdued by one of the thugs, but he escapes out of the trunk by using a fire extinguisher to blind the driver, making the driver crash, and the car flips. And then Hutch finds out that one of the bad guys is a Black Russian, because it's rare to see a Black Russian these days. That's the joke. I never seen a Black Russian before. And then guy's like, yeah, I get that a lot. And then he's like wondering, who are you? And then he talks about like, oh, he talks about his history, who he was. And the guy was already dead before he could finish his story. Which I found funny because, like, isn't it weird that, like people who are about to die, you start to tell them your whole backstory of who you were, where you came from, why you have this set of particular skills, and then like they're at the brink of death, and then they die the moment you finish the story. And in this movie, it's like, nope, they just die instantly because they don't have time to hear your whole backstory, which I found it hilarious. And it happens twice in this film. When he went back to his house to tell his family to get somewhere safe, and then takes the remaining bad guys who were still alive in the house just to burn his whole entire house, because there's a record he had in his record collection, and and he plays "It's a Wonderful World" on his record player, and apparently that's a self-destruct record player that plays the song and burns the house down, I guess, which is weird. But you know, I kind of felt like, man, he let his record collection burn to the ground. That means he has to restart his whole entire collection. Again, if it was me, honestly, I would have had that record collection at least saved before burning that fucking place to the ground, you know? So yeah, what happened to his father? Hutch's father, again, I said, played by Christopher Lloyd. He was used to be an FBI agent, and then Christopher Lloyd, he's like in his like retirement home, basically in his room, and like one of the Russian thugs come in to kill him, and they have like silencers and shit, and he's like on his couch, and under his blanket was a fucking shotgun. Shoots two of the dudes, and then he turns on his TV to make it sound like he's watching some western film with a lot of gunfire, so the orderlies don't suspect a thing. And he's like, Jesus, dude, like, turn that shit down. And he closes the door, and you see Christopher Lloyd choking a dude out and covering his mouth so he doesn't scream and yell in pain, and he snaps his neck. I was like, let's go! Fucking Doc Brown is a badass in this movie. I was like, yes! It was so cool. He was like, fucking like, I ain't going down without a fight. And oh my god, it's like, it reminded me of in Watchmen, and this was the director's cut of Watchmen, where the old night owl was like getting like ambushed by like these Asian thugs that came to his house because they thought that the night owl they fought in the alleyway was the same night owl that they saw, even though he's an old man. And he was like beating the shit out of them until he got killed, sadly. But Christopher Lloyd, he did not have a single scratch on him. He was like, nope, fuck you, bang. It was so awesome. I was like, hell yes. They didn't like I was like thinking, oh, they probably cast Christopher Lloyd like, oh, we need an old guy in this movie. Get an old actor that no one knows from his history that has done a lot of good films. No, they used Christopher Lloyd so well in this movie. Like, I thought they just put him in there because they're like, whatever, he's an old actor, he can't do much. No, they gave him a lot. And it's so amazing. Like, it's so amazing. I was oh my god. I forgot to mention Hutch has a best friend that he talks to on a radio. Apparently he's like, just like Hutch, he's supposed to appear dead, like he's like presumed like declared dead basically. And his friend is played by RZA from, Wu-Tang Clan and everything. And RZA's acting got a bit better since Man with the Iron Fist, which is pretty cool. Also, RZA, it was pretty awesome of you to give a shout out and a happy birthday to Callie from Hololive English. That was pretty awesome of you, man. Oh, that was so cool. Callie was like happy about that. Oh man. When I saw that clip, I was like, oh really? RZA recognized Callie? Hell yeah. Anyway, like RZA is, when I heard his voice on the radio, I was like, oh, that's RZA, because I recognize his voice. And man, he got some good like stunt choreography going. He did a lot of cool action scenes in this film, even though it wasn't a lot. He had a lot of good like action scenes in this film. Like he had like he came to rescue Hutch, even though he said he wasn't gonna help his white ass at all. And he's like firing his sniper rifle, and he's there, and his dad, and Hutch's dad is there too, firing his dual wielding his shotguns at the Russians. It was, oh wait, like, okay, let me not get ahead of myself. Okay. So Hutch goes and like burns all the Russian bad guys' money, because of course the Russian bad guy has a money thing, because again, John Wick with the whole burning the money thing also. Seriously, it's like this guy knows only a few points. It's Russian bad guys and the good guy has to destroy the Russian bad guys' money. Seriously, what the? It feels beat for beat. Like, for real, it feels beat for beat John Wick, just with Saul. I'm not complaining, are you? It's got some awesome scenes in this film. So Hutch gives the bad guy an ultimatum of saying, like, I burned your money. Now you can either leave me and my family alone, or you want to meet your maker, basically, you know? And again, like the bus scene, he prayed to God that the bad guy was gonna say no and give him the thrill of the chase to fight him. And he did. He goes in that Dodge Challenger and drives his car, and he's getting chased by the Russian mobsters with their guns and their generic bad guy black SUV vehicles. Seriously, can we change a color in a car? Why does it always have to be black SUVs? It's gotta stop, guys. It's gotta stop. Just because they're in black SUVs, that doesn't mean they're always bad guys. Seriously, can we just change it up? Maybe make it a red car or a different vehicle? Maybe a Nissan Altima? I don't know. Something better and unique than a typical black SUV? I mean, Jesus Christ. We gotta switch up the colors at least, so it doesn't have to always be a black vehicle. Can it just be a different color for once? So Hutch leads them to the place he works at, the, I guess, construction site or engineer's shop or something. I don't know what it was. And of course, RZA's there, his dad's there, and they're all coming together. And Christopher was like, I tried retirement too. It was fine. But damn, I missed this shit. And I was like, hell yeah. And I was like thinking Christopher Lloyd was gonna die in this movie. He didn't. He freaking like was so cool. He was slow. Like, he looked slow, but you could tell Christopher Lloyd was having a damn good time with this, because he was like killing like Russian bad guys left and right, and he's like having a good time with his shotgun, reloading, and is like blasting them. Even like Home Alone traps everywhere in the facility where that Hutch like orchestrated, just like killing all the Russians, firing harpoons and spears at them, taking the gun that his step brother gave him, and then just like he took out the freezer and shoots. And this one cool scene where he throws the gun and you get this like gun perspective of it like being thrown in the air, and you see RZA catch it in like this first person shot, solidifying that the director of Hardcore Henry directed this. He does have some great action work with camera movements, and he does a great job doing this. I mean, it's not his typical kind of style where it's like, I did it in first person, basically. He does it in like, this is like the first kind of movie he's done where it's not like something that he's doing in a first person perspective, at least from what I've seen is in his filmography, basically. But he does great filming action, and I'm glad that they got him to direct this, because this was fucking cool. Just seeing all three of these guys use what their strengths are. And even though Christopher Lloyd's like a slow old guy, he knows he can utilize his strengths. And he just like sets up a trap on these bad guys that they all like put in the freaking facility, the factory. And then he just shoots it with this one bomb with a shotgun that falls perfectly where two bad guys were, and then it blows up. And he slowly moves away, from the blast, and he just has this sadistic smile on his face of like, yes, I killed these guys. It was so fun just seeing old man Christopher Lloyd just fucking capping on bad guys left and right. It was so awesome. Dual wielding shotguns and just bam, bam, bam. It was so awesome. They did not waste this man in this movie. He fucking was. Oh my god. Like most movies, they would take an old actor and just put them in a random movie. You know, like with Robert De Niro doing like movies where he plays the grandpa and he's no longer doing gangster films anymore. Nah, they were like, we got Christopher Lloyd in this movie. We're gonna use him right. He used to be an FBI agent? Okay, let's fucking make him a badass old man. And oh my god, they they did him justice, man. Oh man, it was so cool. And RZA, he was like fucking like beating the shit out of guys. Like he was firing his gun. He had like cool like freaking like martial arts moves on him. Like he was fucking awesome in this film too. Him, Bob Odenkirk, they were like fire. This stunt choreography was like so amazing. With the action set piece was like, oh, it was just beautiful. I loved it. Man, this was awesome. And yeah, the bad guy dies, obviously. None of them died. I was shocked. I was like thinking, oh shit, are we gonna kill them off? No, they didn't. I thought it was gonna be like, like what happened in John Wick where Willem Dafoe got killed after he lied that he was gonna take the money and kill John Wick, and he actually protected him. I thought that was gonna happen, but it didn't. So I was glad they kept them alive in this movie, because apparently it's like they're gonna start another franchise with Bob Odenkirk's character as a nobody. And if I get to see more of RZA and Christopher Lloyd kicking ass with Bob Odenkirk, I'm all on board for it. I am all on board. And if this is connected to the John Wick universe also, I am totally on board with it also, because if it is, give that to me. Give that to me. That would be so cool if it is connected to John Wick. Ooh, I would be so happy if it is. But I don't know. It's a movie made by Universal, and John Wick is made by Summit, which is Lionsgate, so I don't think I'll hold my breath, but who knows. So yeah, Nobody was it was a basic action movie, but the best part of it being a basic action movie with its basic story, it knows how to be creative with its action. It knows how to get you interested and your heart racing, and also getting invested in characters, mainly for the main characters in this movie, like Lloyd, RZA, and Odenkirk. They stand out a lot in this movie, and for good reason. Like I was like worried that one of the characters were gonna die. You don't know much about the kids. You don't know much about the wife, despite only I know it's Connie Nelson, and that's Queen Hippolyta from Wonder Woman, so that's it. But I guess what mattered was the three main people that were fighting in the final action scene. And that all that mattered to me, because I actually was seeing myself like scared, thinking, is Lloyd gonna die? Please tell me he's not gonna die in this movie. That would make me sad. They didn't. And that was cool. They made him a badass. Even at his old age, they made him look cool. Like, How do you do that? Like, it's so weird because, like, yeah, like he's old and yeah, he can't, like, do like the stunts that the two other actors can do, but they used him pretty well. How they what they can do for an old man like him, and that was awesome. Uh, but yeah, um, I might watch Breaking Bad after seeing this, or Better Call Saul. Better Call. Well, obviously Breaking Bad first, but if you can sit me down and watch it with anyone, if anyone wants to watch it with me, then I'd be happy to watch it with you guys if you would let me sit me down to watch it because I'm very stubborn when it comes to TV shows. But yeah, this was fucking fun, honestly. It's a fun action movie, and that's what I love. It establishes the setting, the characters in a short time as possible and makes you feel for them, and that's good. And I like that. Like, and I love it was a slow like intro to him living his life with his family because it does help you develop and get to know him more of who he is. And I like that. I did like that a lot because you start to see his routine, what he's going through, and then that he has a past that he doesn't talk about. And I like that. It wasn't like John Wick where they get immediately to the action. No, they took a slow burn to it. And I like that. And I know John Wick did a good job too establishing character by not saying any dialogue whatsoever. The movie here does the same thing too. And how he was like, he lost his wife, he then gets a dog, but then again, it happened so quickly. While in Nobody, this shows like the span of a few weeks of what his life is like and showing how boring it is and how simple and mundane whatever in suburban life. And I like that. It was like trying to develop like who is this guy and what does he do and whatever. Like I like that. It was nice to see that kind of like short character development that had no dialogue, visual storytelling, and you're like, okay, now I know what's up with this guy and what's going on, and that's good. And this is I did like it. It has the problems of it because you start to know it's beat by beat like John Wick and like get revenge, fight bad guys, do like a cool action scene, whatever. But to its credit, even though it is basic, the action, the creative action scenes, the stunt choreography, everything about this film, like action and character, I think that holds the film together. Because if you don't have those things, it makes your movie boring. Just like with other action movies, like Peppermint with Jennifer Garner. That was a basic action revenge movie about like a woman that fucking lost her daughter, her husband, and then she just becomes a badass over time, and that's it. And there was nothing interesting about it because it just felt so basic, bland. You've seen it before, and it doesn't do anything technically new with its action scenes. It's just a basic revenge action movie that you just are bored of, and you can tell that the actor that's in the movie isn't doing the action or isn't doing the stunts, and she's not doing anything to give it their all. At least with Atomic Blonde, it was doing something new, and of course the actress was doing the stunts herself most of the time. And with Taken, yes, Liam Neeson, he's old and he can't do half those stunts, but Liam Neeson, with his character and how they developed him and how they set him up as like, oh, he is this badass. Like, they set him up pretty good. And I like that. And that's what they did. They set him up. They didn't just say he was a badass. They said, oh, here we'll show you a scene of him using his skills before the whole daughter getting kidnapped thing happens. I mean, yes, John Wick like said how much he was a badass, but they set up the story. They told you fucked up. That fucking nobody was John Wick, and then they tell this awesome story about him, about what he did. Like, they didn't just say, you're the best goddamn man we have. No, they didn't just say that. No, they went to a backstory about, like, why you shouldn't fuck with this guy. He killed a man with a pencil. Like, I like action movies that set up a world, or set up, like, kind of like something in the background, like nothing like something big or anything like they're trying to set up a cinematic universe or something. No, they just basically set up a world of with this character, and they give you little information, not something that's ham-fisted or hammered in or anything. They just give you nuggets of it and saying like, this is what this person did, and that's cool. And we're not going to tell you what he worked with or who he worked for. We're just going to give you little bits of it and not try to ham-fist it with dialogue, exposition whatsoever. We're just going to tell you a little bit of it, and then maybe it will be set up for a sequel. And I like that. It builds a world, and I thought it was cool. And action movies like this, I love when they do something creative, do something new, interesting, what makes it cool. Just like with Kill Bill. Like, it's a typical revenge film, of course, but with Tarantino's style, of course we're gonna fucking watch it. So yeah, nobody for me gets a 8.9 out of 10. I loved it. I thought it was pretty good. I mean, yes, there's flaws in it I don't like, but honestly, for all those flaws, it makes up with the presentation and presence of this film. I left with a smile on my face, happy, liking this film. And if you're looking for a good time, a good action movie to sit back, relax, and just have fun with, this is the movie for you. I mean, like with Godzilla vs. Kong, did I give a shit about the story? No, I didn't. I gave a fuck about the kaijus fighting. That's all I wanted. And I was cool about that. Like, it's a turn your brain off, have a good time, feel like everything is good. Do I say it's a turn off? Am I saying nobody is a turn off your brain movie? No, not really. I wouldn't say that. It's more of a movie that, for you, if you appreciate good action film, then that's what you are coming to see, a good action film. You don't have to think much, but you do want to at least have sympathetic characters, at least to watch and see, to root for, and just have a good time in general. And I like that. And nobody was my John Wick for this year. And I honestly had fun. I might watch it again alongside with Atomic Blonde, John Wick, and Hardcore Henry. Anyway, thank you guys for listening in on Niru at the Movies. And I watched Nobody. I hope my little ramblings didn't lose ya, because I'm very rambly and get off topic, and then you guys are gonna be like, oh, what is he saying? He's just speaking gibberish. He's a mumbler. He's like Mike TV from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next video. Ciao, darlings.
Ow, ow, ow! Ow! Ow!